So the next step on from that, psychosis is a common outcome of people who have addictions to crystal meth. I read in your book, I think, 5 times the normal incidence of a non-crystal meth user. What are some of the situations and examples you've seen?
Well, it starts off as fantasy, and you realise that you kind of know that you're in a fantasy world and you kind of don't. But the whole relationship with crystal meth and why people use it is all about fantasy in general. As soon as you take it, you reimagine yourself, you reimagine what people around you are thinking about, you project that they're thinking, oh gee, he's great, and gee, he's good looking, and gee, he's smart, and I want him to dominate the conversation for the next 8 hours. So it's all about fantasy from the outset. It's a lot about sexual fantasy. It's about fantasies of believing you've achieved more than what you have, or fantasies about believing that the only reason you haven't achieved things is because people have set you up and conspired against you. Nothing really happens by accident. So there's a mild psychosis from the outset, and then you just have these creeping thoughts, normally after you haven't slept for a day or two, and your anxiety levels are up, and you start to think about things like, my mum hasn't contacted me in 2 weeks. What about that person who was looking at me funny in the cafe the other day? My roommate just screamed at me because I've been smoking all these bongs and not giving him any money. Why is all this stuff happening? Must be connected in some way. I've also got sores on my face. Why is this? There's something on my teeth. I haven't shaved recently. I haven't shaved in a month. Why is, and you just put everything together into one theory and you go, people are poisoning me. Or, people have secretly, why is it that friend stopped talking to me around about the same time that I break up with my ex? They must be together, but he's heterosexual. Oh, what they've done is they've turned my ex-boyfriend into a woman. And they've kept it secret from me, and now they're playing a joke on me and rubbing it in my face by having this girl come into the house knowing that it's my ex and playing this joke, and they're all laughing about it in the next room.
Wow.
So, and these are memory potholes in between that makes it hard to describe, but it's about taking fantasies literally. It's a breakdown of fantasy and reality, and it's a very infantile state where you think the whole world revolves around you in some way.
What are the effects after you've managed to shake your addiction and got back to a normal life? What are there long-term after effects?
There are, not physically. For me, there was a couple of weeks where I felt a little bit lethargic, but you spend a lot of time awake, you spend a lot of time thinking in a different way, and it can reset your thinking patterns, and you tend to be not mad, raving, lunatic, psychotic, but just kind of you at your worst for a long time. And unless somebody picks you up on that, that can just become your kind of new you. You think about your defense mechanisms, whether you're a very self-centered person or a very aggressive person, those tend to come out. I mean, for a while when I was on the drug, I became very grandiose and believed I was going to become a rapper. But can I just say that the thinking was, Australia doesn't have a gay rapper and there are gay rappers. So I just would like to take this opportunity to say, if you're a young person thinking about getting into a music career and you're gay, maybe being a gay rapper is for you, but it wasn't for me. But that belief subsisted for months after I stopped using, and if anybody criticised that, I'd be like, you always do this, you always put me down, you never give me any support just because you're gay, just because I'm gay, you think I can't be a rapper, all this stuff. But it was just grandiose adolescent fantasization like you do when you're 13, you put the headphones on and you imagine you're a pop star. What's
the attraction to start using crystal meth?
The attraction depends very much on the person. I think part of it is the loneliness that we have now in the breakdown of all sorts of communities.
Yep.
So it brings people together. As soon as you know somebody else is a drug user, then you can say, yep, doesn't matter about anything else, where we come from in life, you immediately have that connection and you've immediately got something to do together, and then you know that you're going to have somebody to hang out with for the next couple of days. There's a ritualized aspect that I found in using needles with people, that you're all getting together and sharing this process and breaking blood together, and a lot of people are also using it to get work done because it has been used historically as a way for labourers and for working class people to be able to work through illnesses and continue working. It's great factory line job work, repetitive. You don't feel the full gamut of emotion. You get a lot done, and time flies.
If someone is a crystal meth addict, what do you do? Where do you go? What's the both if you're the addict yourself, or if you know someone who is, what do you do?
The problem is, if you're in the midst of a crystal meth addiction, then you've probably gone psychotic. It on varying degrees. You've lost your mind, and it's hard to... The nature of losing your mind is that you don't know you've lost your mind. But then you'll have periods where out of pure exhaustion, or because you can't get enough money, or things have fallen apart, you've been thrown out of your house because you've been saying weird stuff, where you just won't get access to the drug. And that, in some cases, gives people enough time to clear their mind and then make a proper choice about whether or not they can continue using. If you know somebody who is an addict, ultimately, I mean, it's a diminished choice, but ultimately they will make a choice about whether or not they will continue using in some way or another. That is the life that they are choosing. But please understand that the way they're behaving when they're on the drug is not them, even though it may seem like an extension of them, or them at their very, very, very worst. It's not them. There was a time when I thought, as I said, people were poisoning me, and so I started threatening to kill people. And some people never quite got over that. But I'm just like, but I thought I was being poisoned.
Yep.
And I have also wanted you dead for a long time as well. No. But, you know, you have all these things that come out that aren't you. And the only thing that would stop that would be a high dose of antipsychotics. And to be able to speak to that person when they hit rock bottom, when they've cleared their mind enough. Because there's no point trying to talk sense in them when they're in the midst of addiction, because they've gone crazy, they've gone troppo, there's nothing you can do about it.